Okay, we'll open the town manager act review committee. It is now 6 o'clock. Accept first the motion to accept the agenda as posted.
Motion.
Second?
Unanimous. Okay, we also have the minutes of our last meeting, February 28th, as written. And by the way, I want to thank Steve. You do a good job. On the minutes.
Motion to accept.
Second?
Unanimous. Okay. First, one of the first things that we had was to ask if we had any elected officials, and I sent an email to all the elected boards and no response. Basically, it says, as you're aware, the town manager acts as a review of the town manager act every 5 years. We'd like your input. We'd like to welcome you to attend our meeting, reaching out to you as well as other boards to have you come in with any comments, suggestions, and you feel free to reach out to me. We meet every Wednesday, and if you'd like to be on the agenda, we're more than happy to address it. I never get an answer.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yes, that the elected boards that have employees don't realize that it's possible that could change, their oversight of those employees possibly could change. That might encourage them to want to attend.
Yeah, I wish in the content in hindsight that you had indicated that what specifically might be the issue for them as opposed to, come on, just talk to us if you wanted some input.
It's real easy. By all. Yeah, I can address it right now. I could just basically say, our committee has had discussion relative to the all employees report to the town manager, which will affect your employees. Please let me know if you have comment.
Perfect.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay.
So, and then we'll see. As far as the agenda, we asked to review section 5 and 6 of the Town Manager Act, which I've gone through, and to be candid, I don't have any recommended changes to it. Section 5 of 6.
Section 5, it puts the preparation of the budget squarely within the town manager's purview. In the past, that's been something the FinCom has done. And my question is, would it make more sense, given the experience and knowledge that the FinCom has of town finances, that they work together on the budget?
Well, it says, and recommendations have been,
Recommendations to the FinCom is not really working on the budget. It's just giving the FinCom the budget so they can put it in their report.
I spoke to the chair today, and he didn't seem to have a problem.
Okay.
He seems to feel that it works. Now,
Okay.
I can ask him to give a written or give us a response to that.
No, it's just, it's just something that's very different from the way the budget used to be prepared, so.
Well,
I think it's the time of Derek, though. I think the FinCom has basically, I won't say abdicated, but the town manager is the one who will aggregate the budget, put it together. And then we'll go to the FinCom for approval, discussion, and all those kinds of things. FinCom kind of puts their influence or stamp on.
So I recall when I was on FinCom, with the selectmen, no, we ourselves.
Well, the FinCom used to do that, but I think when Derek was the town manager, I think it started to evolve to a point that Derek actually took.
Yeah, he did, and
I think
but
Joe was-
even when Derek was here,
Mhm.
the FinCom still met with the selectmen in all of their meetings.
Yeah.
They would schedule, for this meeting, we're gonna go over these line items in the budget, and the FinCom would give their input that way. I don't think they're doing that.
he was there last night,
You want to?
the meeting to address the budget.
Okay.
Yep. That's,
And, if he's happy with the way it is, then that's.
I just, you know what? Let's ask again.
That's the question.
To be sure, I just, no harm in that.
People are taking more and more duties and responsibilities from the committee that lives in town, works in town, and giving it to someone that
But ultimately, the town manager can't set the budget, the FinCom. And basically, the board of the town will still set the budget.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, what they use the town manager for is, I'll call it the administrative aggregation of everything. I equate it back to the superintendent, it does all of that over at the school now. I mean, it's to have like a part-time, part-time committee people try to do that and raising that, be just, I think, just a huge amount of work.
But the town bylaws specify that the budget has to be approved by the FinCom, or get reviewed by the FinCom before town meeting. So they do get their input on it, you know, and I know they do have dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just,
But it's worth a question.
I'm just concerned that the more that it gets put in front of people, that, and it may get to that point, not get discussed, like the finance committee used to discuss things back and forth.
Well, with Paul on it, certainly, yeah.
You know, I mean, it was difficult getting $1,500 back then, you know, and I just want to make sure it's not diluted from the finance committee having direct input. It's obviously they can't override it. They can just recommend, right?
Well,
Anything that the town manager puts forward.
well, actually, it's the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee that final say on the town manager's budget. The town manager is obligated to report, and I don't know how clear it is, but to the Board of Selectmen, they approve the budget. Town manager doesn't. They approve the warrant that goes to town meeting with the budget, and FinCom makes recommendations on it. But the Board of Selectmen, the only authority in town that can approve the warrant for the town meeting. So does get a multiple checks. But again, to be conservative, be on the right side, let's get chairman's input and see, you know, how they feel about it. And I'm sure they're gonna have a meeting within the next week and they can bring it up at their meeting.
The second question is on, in section 5B, it says, view the warrants for all town meetings and ballot questions. What does that mean?
That means if somebody has like a petition or something for the warrant, it's asking him to ensure that they are proper and legal in their structure so they can go to a meeting.
So a ballot question is the same as a citizen's petition.
Well, it's ballot question is probably the wrong word, you're right. Because it's an article. It's
That's what I was. So I mean, ballot question to me is like.
Yeah.
What we voted on in the fall. We have ballot questions on the. And, you know, sometimes on the state election, we have ballot questions. And if what this is referring to are citizen petitions for warrant articles, then that makes more sense to me.
Or it's maybe not even citizen, maybe i.e. the planning board put something forward. It's the manager's job to make sure that the context and the language is legal and it doesn't contradict existing bylaw.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe you don't need to say anything. Maybe it's just review the warrants for all town meetings. And
That's true.
so that's,
Yeah.
it would be,
And so removing ballot questions, that makes sense because that is, yeah, I can see where it's confusing.
okay. So the only questions I have.
Anyone else? Okay. And 6, that's. We did have a question as to the question of 90 days before a town meeting and that number 8. Whether you want to put that off and discuss it, but it's confusing to me. It's the resolution shall state the reason they were provided. However, that no such resolution be adopted within 90 days of the annual town election. So they're basically saying within 90 days of the election, they can initiate removal or suspension of the town manager. I don't know the purpose for that.
The purpose of that is, if you fired the town manager within 90 days of town meeting, and you brought in or appointed someone as interim town manager, that person may not be able to stand up at town meeting and defend the budget.
And the downside is if there's a basis to remove somebody, you're allowing that inappropriate person to continue to control the town and continue in his or her inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be any limit on when somebody is his basis to remove them is removed from the president down to a town manager.
Actually, I concur with you for once. I mean, to me, it's if the worst case scenario, you have a town manager that needs to be removed or terminated. I'll use that language. You don't want that person who knows that after the town meeting they're gone to represent the town because they have no emotion or interest or dedication to it.
Well, should you perhaps add who you might feel, what level of next responsibility until they hire somebody?
Or the selectmen.
Is that in there?
No, but they are the actual authority for the town meeting.
Frequently,
Yeah, it would get done whether you suspend it or not.
Right.
The towns go on with the other.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, if it was an interim town manager appointed, it would fall to that person or to this board of selectmen to defend the budget at the town meeting.
Well, I would be disappointed that the budget went to town meeting and the board of selectmen didn't know it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
one thing, they know what's in the budget and they know what the warrant articles are. But it's another thing to be able to stand up and answer questions. They may not be able to answer questions.
so in the olden days, you used to have the department heads come to you over the budgets and such like that, so it's not really that difficult of a task. I mean, again, I don't think that it is really. You talk to department heads, maybe you talk to people in the departments, but
The finance committee usually has all the answers anyway. True. I mean, they're gonna be aware of what's in it regardless of who's standing up.
And departments elected or department heads are there, and they should be able to address questions relative to their departments as well. So, well, let's put it on the table as a group for discussion as to whether or not to remove the 90-day clause. And I'll throw this out. I don't know how you all feel, but I was thinking, depends upon whether we have more people attending the meeting. And let's say no one attends our next meeting. Then do we go back through the beginning and start to go over each of the discussion points and make a yes, no vote and debate them for the final time?
So, could do that, but what I had already started doing is creating a separate document that has incorporated the changes that we seem to have agreed on. And in doing that, I found lots of duplication in the original document. Things were said in multiple places that were the same. So I tried to eliminate that so that it only says, the town manager shall be the chief procurement officer in one place rather than two. Stuff like that.
The only thing, and I'm being cautious here, the only thing that would affect that is the language in this goes to council and it goes to the Commonwealth. And both of them there may be reasons, I don't know, legally, there may be reasons why it's restated, I don't know. So to me, there is continual redundancy, but
well, before we present it to the public, aren't we gonna ask the selectmen to have town council look over whatever the
oh,
document?
yeah, but we have to come to a decision, ask them whether they don't.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't have to worry about town council, what they would recommend. That's not, we can't.
No.
But if it seems to make sense to this group that we eliminate duplication and reorganize some of that.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think having read this, there are times I go back and say, didn't I just read that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would make sense.
So
And then,
what I can do is, if you want, and what I did was, the way I did this was I cut and pasted the original text, of the current act. And then right below it, I put proposed changes.
perfect.
So, because track changes just gets crazy. So this way you can see what it currently says, and then you can see what we might want it to say, and we can discuss that.
A lot of the time. You're dedicated.
This is an important thing.
Thank you. Good for you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And that way we can, I mean, because I can't imagine how we're gonna do it any other way, so.
Mhm. Well, you're right.
So I'll email this and maybe we can have this on the agenda for the next meeting and
Great.
in addition to hopefully getting some,
Board.
Well, I will restate it, and this will be the second email they'll get within a week, and it will say, just for your information, one of the adjustments we're potentially looking at is, and do you have comments, or would you like to attend to be addressed on committee?
If we decided what level that he would have, I look at it, that he may have an attendance level or a day-to-day operation, but the general duty, responsibility would come from the board. I mean,
Well, yeah, I
tried to pick it out of the,
Well, the last one that addresses hiring and appointment, this was the addendum that was put in the act last year, 2020. Hiring and appointing the Board of Assessors staff in consultation with the Board of Assessors and staff, such being subject to the town manager's authority pursuant to Clause A, which means simply that the town manager does have, but the Board of Assessors have the overall authority. All he does, he can't do discipline and stuff without their consent, and so they have input on it. He's just making sure, I mean, so it gives him the opportunity to say, okay, there's equity here in all the employee jobs, but at the same time, their managers have input. Not unlike, say, the Board of Selectmen, if he has something with the DPW director, they have the final say over him. So they could say, no, we don't agree with that, and change it.
guess what would change?
Well, there are people right now that they have part-time managers. And they're not here day to day, so it's not knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what he would have what's the exact duties that he'd have over them? The same as,
Just, well, there is a department that's closing for a week and no one knew it.
okay,
And so he would know that, and he would be able to say, okay, citizens need to know if a department's closed for a week. And if they are closed for a week, maybe we can get a temporary senior workout program to sit in there and at least steer I call it the customer, the citizen, in the right direction.
How would we inform the citizens if they had to know about it?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know.
it would be posted on the website,
Yeah,
emails pushed out,
Yeah.
sign and lobby.
yeah, something like that. But I think more importantly, it would allow to facilitate the senior workout program. Every time there's vacations here, you're in it. My wife did it and she filled in for the town clerk. She's filled in selectman's office and she works. So there is a body there, the citizen, somebody comes and they want to address a situation and the door's closed. That's not right. So at least give somebody to steer them in the direction where they can get some help.
Steve, it wouldn't be the town manager on the sign up front. I was at a meeting last night. He said that it's not appropriate manpower. It's a lot of work to do that. So
And that's a nice shot.
I mean,
That was a shot by Alan. Get over it, Alan. Come.
So what is this, in section 6, there's this phrase, this is during a temporary absence of the town manager. He designates a interim, someone to take over for him. And then at the end of the sentence, it says not admitting to delay. What does that mean?
In other words, not procrastinating, so I see it. I don't know. I know like in the past, when the town manager has to leave or is on vacation, in the past, it's always been Chief Bradley that is assigned the acting town manager. And that gives him the authorities under the Town Manager Act but it's for vacation time. It's not a long extended period.
Right. So this is 30 days or less. So it could be like when Derek used to go on National
Active
Guard.
duty.
He was gone for like 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So somebody took over for him.
It was Chief Bradley.
But I just don't understand what that.
It's
At the end of
getting
that,
to,
yeah,
I view that as meaning basically that when the person takes over, there will be no delay in the continuing of the duties of the town manager, meaning that let's say Derek was in the middle of some contract negotiation that was supposed to finish by, weekend when he's gone, that the other town manager would be able to pick that up, the other person would be able to pick that up. So it would be a delay in the activities of town manager. That's the way I read it.
And basically what they do is, they maintain a level. But if there were a contract, the acting town manager would not negotiate a contract. They would simply make sure the office functions, citizens have access, questions are answered. It's not that deep, and it shouldn't be.
I kind of look at this section as being kind of short-term disability versus long-term disability.
Yeah.
It's under 30 days, we do one thing, it's going to be involved, or it's going to be longer than 30 days before it gets involved. Send somebody.
So Bob, if the library board comes in next week and says, what do you mean? What duties will the town manager have for our employees? I think that's the answer we'd have to have ready for. When would they manage and when would the town manager manage?
Well, I think to manage, and this is my own opinion, manage is kind of a strong word. All they do is show that there's consistency. They're not going to give them detail in their job description. That doesn't apply. That's already in place. He's not going to be able to tell them how to manage their job, but he is going to be able to say, if the person says, I'm out sick and I'm going to be out sick, then he's the contact, he knows. That's the level of management. So facilitate in any absence of work, or gee, we've got a problem here. We have an influx of work. Can you get me some assistance? I have to make it, the town clerk doesn't apply. It's not elected, but say it was, and it's the election season, buried with ballots and things, you provide extra help. That's the level that it's at. It's not saying to somebody, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not micromanaging by any means.
but it's the boards would retain their role in hiring the person. It's just once the person is hired, the town manager would provide day-to-day supervision or oversight of that person. But it's up to the board to decide who they want
Correct.
on the town manager.
The hiring process is very clearly defined within the personnel bylaw. And it's that whole process really, in many ways, the only ones that have the final authority are the elected boards, because they make their final appointment. But the personnel board does the screening, the application review, does the job descriptions, the state scales of employment. That's all done by the personnel board.
And the town manager would also then be responsible for performance reviews. And,
Well, that's a good question. I don't see it that way. I think the elected board still had the performance review, so maybe the language has to be changed from managing employees to some other language,
well,
in consultation with the elected boards.
So this is the thing, because for employees that the town manager hires, he's responsible for performance reviews.
Correct.
Yeah, I would expect they would be doing that.
I wouldn't expect they would expect all employees are treated the same. That would be the goal. I mean, I can't imagine that a town manager could do a performance review without consulting them.
Right.
But it would mean that the town manager is responsible for getting the review done, not the board. Because they're not supervising the person.
True. But again, I'm just protecting their final authority on that as the department head. So i.e. a town manager comes in and does a poor evaluation on a person and the elected board doesn't have input, that's not right.
No, they should be done in conjunction with the town manager in some way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So that's.
Yeah, because I guess I would look at it as they would have a similar relationship to what Chief Bradley has with the town manager today. I mean, the reality is the town manager doesn't tell Chief Bradley what to do on a day-to-day basis. Chief Bradley comes in and is more about, this is the budget, this is the piece, he works with the town manager, set all those things. And it's more collaborative approach because you're talking about senior people.
True.
You know, so, Chief Bradley's running things on a day-to-day basis. He's running the police department. If he has an issue and if he has budgetary need, I mean, they're probably trying to figure out, he's probably reaching out to Joe, to the town manager and saying, hey, look, I need some help in this or in that, or this, if there's a disciplinary matter, so that's probably handling it, but he's, doing that in conjunction with the town managers.
Yeah, and the same thing would apply with DPW director.
Yep.
Yeah, they run their department, but
Exactly. So I don't know exactly how to phrase that. I have to take a look and figure out how to phrase that. Because to me, I would imagine that, the town manager does, for example, Chief Bradley's review with other associated parties that he works with, whether it's the, or selectmen, it's the FinCom, it's something like, say, from the DPW perspective and some of the other senior people that are there. So.
Yeah, they're full-time. That's, we've always had things in place full-time, but really had stuff in place for the boards. I mean, even when we had Board of Fire Engineers, we did evaluation
Yeah.
of people on our own, essentially, I mean, that's, And it's probably the middle of the road on, maybe they just act in conjunction with the town manager. I think they just need to know that their employee also has to meet a certain standard of the personnel bylaw, and there should be an annual evaluation of them. And
that's well put, because there have been, and I'm going back, but there have been elected boards that haven't done the evaluation. That's not fair to the employee either. No, it goes both ways. Okay. Do we have anything else within this? Because I jumped down to 8, but obviously we're near conclusion on a lot of this. Okay. Gentlemen, anything else? Anything we want to bring up? Okay, at that, we all comfortable with next meeting on March 13th,
The Ides of March,
15th?
15th.
Oh, yeah, you should know that. So the 16th, we will meet same time, 6 o'clock. Do you prefer down here? I like this one more conducive for working. Right, sure. Okay, I will, just to rehash the final time, I will reach out to the chair of the FinCom and ask him what his opinions are and if he'd like to come in. And I will re-notify the elected boards more specific to that we are looking at the possibility of the town manager having day-to-day oversight or.
The elected boards that you really need to contact, there's only one.
I got them all. Yep.
Board of Health.
Yeah.
Library trustees.
Yeah.
Planning board and the rest. Well,
Right.
the other ones don't have any.
No, those are the ones. Yep. So, and, again, I'll be more specific, see what they say.
Yep.
Okay, other than that,
Motion to adjourn.
unanimous will adjourn. Okay.